everybody. What's up? Welcome back to Discovering Nicole. My name's Nicole and I'm a person in long-term recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015, and tonight we're going to have a recovery live stream. So, what I would like for you guys to do as you come in, please hit the like, hit the share button, and comment down below what your name is and what your sober date is. Now, if you're not sober, that's okay. You're in the right place and I want you to be here with us. If you're not sober, tell me 2 things that you're grateful for. Okay? And your name. So, I'll start out and I'll tell you guys mine. My name's Nicole. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015, and I am grateful for empathy, forgiveness, and humility. That's what I'm grateful for today. So, tonight I want to talk about how to help your addicted loved ones. For those of you guys who are a parent, a brother, a sister, a wife, a husband of somebody who struggles with alcoholism, addiction, this is the live stream that you're going to want to hang out with us at, okay? I'm going to go slowly through some things that I think are really important for you to be of maximum service to your loved one, okay? Now, my family, whenever I struggled with addiction, they did things the tough love way. My mom and dad kicked me out of the house, and I was not allowed to come back unless I was sober. And well, needless to say, I didn't get sober till 2015. So I was kicked out around the time I was 19 or 20 years old. So I was on my own from the very beginning. And I made my own way because us addicts, we are resourceful, baby. We can make it happen. And so I did. I made it happen. Now, it's a lot different nowadays than it was back then. Back then, you could use and you weren't going to die. Like, it was, to overdose, you had to, be shooting heroin, mixing benzos with opiates. Like, it was not like it is today where you can literally get one pill and one pill can kill. It was just not like that back then. So I stayed out on the streets a lot longer because of that situation. I feel like a lot of people who are struggling with addiction now are being brought down to their bottoms a lot quicker because of the severity of these drugs. It is no joke out there. So, I made a video on Facebook about this, and as I was making the video trying to help people with ways to help their loved ones, I was really wanting to make sure that I kind of like hit all corners of it. Hey, what's up, baby boy? Well, you're in the right place, honey. You're in the right place. Hang out with us, okay? So the first thing I think is so important, if you have a loved one who's struggling with addiction and you want to help them, I think the first thing, the most important thing, is establishing trust with that individual and letting them know that you love them and you're there for them. That way they feel comfortable opening up to you, okay? The reason why I say this is because a lot of times when we have somebody that's struggling with a disease of addiction, there's a lot of emotions involved. There's a lot of fear involved. There's a lot of anger involved. And so we say things that we don't mean because we're afraid. We don't want our loved one to die. We don't want nothing bad to happen to them. I know this because I did it. When my husband relapsed, instead of being there to love him, to have him trust me and to support him, I flew off the handle and I got angry and I was screaming at him and I was calling him all kinds of junkies and I was mad. I was mad because I was afraid, okay? Hey, Amanda, if y'all don't mind, come on in, like the video, invite your friends, and share the video. In fact, I need to do that too. I'm going to share it too. I can't do it because I'm not on my phone. Okay, anyways. That's okay. I was afraid. When you're emotionally involved with somebody that, and you love them, the fear is so overwhelming. And that fear for me came out in anger. And I think that happens to a lot of people who have addicted loved ones, is our fear comes out in anger. Yes, it's so sad to watch. It's hard to sit there and watch them commit suicide, a slow suicide right in front of our eyes. Okay? I want to share this with you guys because I want to show you that I did the wrong thing, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. Okay? Now, I have since learned, and I have been able to, turn it around. So let me tell you what happened. So I flew off the handle. I was angry. I was yelling at him. He didn't want to open up to me. He didn't want to trust me. Nothing. He was ashamed, and I made him feel even more shame. And when I tell you guys, I feel like shit because of that. Because shame is the last place that I should have been pushing him towards. I should have been bringing him in to me for help, support, and love and tolerance. But instead, I pushed him into shame. So, let me keep on telling you. Once I realized that I was fucking up and that I was pushing him into shame, that's when I fucking straightened my act out. Okay? That's when I got myself together and I said, okay, I have to help him. I love him. I don't want him to die. That was my biggest fear, is that I was going to come home or I was going to find my husband overdosed and dead. And I was driven by 100 forms of that fear. Okay? It was so fucking real. So I took a step back and I wanted to let him know he could open up to me. Why are you picking up? What is going on in your mind? There's a reason why we pick up drugs and alcohol, okay? Something deeper is going on within us. And so I sat with my husband and I asked him, what is going on? Why are you picking up? What are you afraid of? My husband was afraid that he wasn't going to be able to be a good father, that he wasn't going to be able to be a good provider for us. My husband's father died 2 years after we got sober, so that was really hard for him too. And so it was just a combination of things, circumstances, And so by sitting down and talking with him and opening up to him and allowing him to open up to me, he started to trust me. He started to trust me again. So that first step is trust and love. Okay? It's hard to love your addict when they're acting a fool. It's hard when they're doing all kinds of bullshit. You know what I mean? Believe me. All right. When my addict was going to the bank account and taking hundreds of dollars out of the bank account behind my back and then acting like he didn't do it, when my addict was jumping in the car and driving around high on Xanax bars, damn near killing somebody, when my addict was picking people up off the side of the road that I didn't even know because he wanted to give them a ride because he's nice like that, putting himself in harm's way. Ugh, honey, it's hard. It's hard not to cuss him out, But I had to take a step back. I had to take a step back because when I would get myself upset, I was hurting myself. I was making myself go crazy. I had worried myself into an ulcer, you guys. That's how bad I was worried about him every single day. That my stomach was just tied up in knots, tied up in knots, tied up in knots. Okay, so I started reading this book called Codependency No More by Melanie Beattie. And when I tell you, that book changed my life, and it helped me to realize how codependent me and my husband are on each other. And so I had to start learning how to live my life. My life. New visitor. Not Nicole can only go everywhere with Neil. Not if he doesn't go to the grocery store with me, I'm not going. Nicole's life, stand alone by myself. Because I had never done that. Everything I had done was intertwined with my husband. Okay? And so I needed to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, especially while he was fucking up. So love and trust. Now, number two. Okay? Number two is I want you to come with a plethora of programs, of possibilities that they can use to get sober, right? So, one of the mistakes that I made early on in recovery is that I only pushed 12-step abstinence recovery, okay? And I almost demanded it, you know? Come with different options. Come with the 12 steps. Come with the 30-day treatment center. Come with the outpatient. Come with the interventionist. Come with the medication assisted treatment, methadone, Suboxone, Vivitrol. Okay? Come with the sober support network. Come with a therapist and a counselor. Have all those resources on deck. So that way when your addict is ready and they want to get help and they choose a way that they want to go, you can be there to support them on whatever pathway they choose. And that's what you need to reiterate to them. Whatever pathway you choose, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to support you along on this journey. Number 3. Yes, Maggie, I will post it on YouTube, promise. Number 3. Now, this one's going to be controversial. You need to make sure that your addict is using safely, that they have access to a safe supply of whatever drugs they're using, clean utensils. They need to be staying hydrated. They need to have some food in their belly. Okay? They need to be safe. You want to know why? Because a dead addict can't recover. So if they die on us, then they're not going to get sober. All right? Well, you're probably going to go, what do you expect me to do, Nicole? Give them some meth? No, that's not what I expect you to do. What I expect you to do is I expect you to carry Narcan. I expect you to have fentanyl test strips so you can test whatever drug that they are using, or they can test whatever drugs they are using. I expect you to make sure that if they are shooting up, they have access to clean syringes instead of the same one over and over and over again. Now, am I telling you have to go buy them and give them to them? No. What I'm telling you is that you need to let them know and make them aware of where they can get these things. Because here's the thing. We don't want to catch hepatitis C. We don't want to get HIV. We don't want to have all these things on top of being in a relapse, okay? The relapse is bad enough. But we really want to make sure that they're safe and that they're clean, because they're coming back home to us, you know? And so I wouldn't go out and just take my husband to the store and buy him a bunch of syringes, right? I wouldn't do that. But what I would do is I would make sure that he knows that he can have access where they're at, where to get them. I would give him Narcan. I would carry Narcan, and I would give him the test strips. And I would push him. I would say, please, you use these test strips because I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Please, Neil, please. Okay, that's what I would do. And I know this is controversial, but I'm telling you guys, like, if their person is not being safe, the problems that can come from, not using safely will be a lot worse than the whole relapse combined. I know. Me and my husband both have hepatitis C. I spent over $1,000 last year to get my hepatitis C treated. Thank God I had insurance, because if I didn't have insurance, it would have been $12,000. Okay, and then my husband has to get his hepatitis C treated this year. All right, so we are both a direct result of being denied clean tools. Okay, we went to the pharmacy, we tried to buy syringes, and they denied us. They would not let us get clean tools, which is basically, it should be against the law, because it should be a human right to be able to have access to clean utensils. Anyway, so that's really important, okay? Make sure you have that Narcan. Make sure that you have those phone numbers on deck that you need, if you need to call 911, if you need to, whatever the case may be, all right? Make sure that you know what to do in case of an overdose, all right? You need to know exactly what to do. Narcan, sternum rub, chest compressions, whatever it is, you need to have that shit on lock. So that way, if anything happens, you'll be able to be there to help them. Okay? Okay. Because why? Because a dead addict doesn't recover. Okay, next thing that we're going to do to help our addicted loved one is we are going to set healthy boundaries. Okay? Okay. Where you can train, yeah, you can go to your local harm reduction coalition. Just type in harm reduction in the city you live in, and there should be a way to do it that way. I had to train for my job, but there should be a way to do it through the harm reduction place in your town. The next step that we're gonna okay, baby. The next step that we're gonna do, okay, is we're gonna set healthy boundaries. Now, what do I mean by setting healthy boundaries? What I mean by that, you guys, is these boundaries are going to be to protect you. Okay? My boundaries, no using in the house, no bringing drugs here because we have a child, okay? If you are going to be under the influence and you're going to come here after work or whatever, I need you to call me and let me know ahead of time, because me and my son need to remove ourselves from the situation, because I don't want my little boy to have to see that. Okay? If you don't want them in your home, that's okay too. Telling them that they can't be in your home and that they have to, if they want to continue to use, they have to sleep out in their truck, that's okay. That's a boundary, okay, that can protect you and protect them, all right? Because if you have your addicted loved one in the house and they're getting fucked up and they're leaving their syringes laying around, okay, or they leave their bag or they drop a pill, all it takes is one mistake for a child to get a hold of something, and then that will be it. All right? So set those boundaries. Set those boundaries to protect yourself, to protect your children, and to protect your loved one who is addicted. Okay? Now this is where a lot of people, they feel like this is where a lot of people struggle, because they feel like they're enabling, right? Giving somebody food and water is not enabling. Okay? Allowing them to take a shower is not enabling. Giving them money to get their drugs is enabling. Allowing them to shoot up in your home and to do whatever Tom, Dick, and Harry's wants to do up in their bedroom, that is enabling. Okay? Providing the human basic needs is not enabling. All right? Loving them, caring for them, supporting them, letting them know that you're there for them, that's not enabling. Okay? What we're not going to do is Johnny comes over and he wants $20. Oh, Mom, it's for food. Honey, I'll make you something to eat here. I'm sorry. I don't have $20 to give you. Mom, you don't love me. I'm out of here. Fuck you. Okay, Johnny. I love you too, babe. I'll see you when you decide to come back around, when you're in a better headspace. I'm not coming back around here, Mom. Fuck you. If you really loved me, you'd give me $20. Stand strong. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them manipulate you. Okay? I said I would cook you something to eat, Johnny. If you don't want to eat here, I will put it in a Rubbermaid container and I will send it with you and you can take it on the road. All right? I learned this from my mom, because this is what my mom had to do with me. And my mom, I know, she would have tears running down her eyes, but she'd turn around real fast, because I would walk all over her. And then I would come in and I would try to walk all over my dad. And so if you are married or have a significant other, you both have to unite as a united front. Because if you don't, your addicted loved one is going to play the two of you against each other. Okay? It's a manipulation thing, all right? It's when you have to think of a person who is addicted, they are in survival mode, okay? They're in survival mode. They're not thinking in their mind, I'm going to manipulate mom and dad. That's not how it is at all. But they're in, I have to do whatever I have to do to get what I need to get, okay? And so whatever that may be, if that's tell dad that mom lied about last week, basketball game, blah, 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 whatever, then that's what we'll do. That's what the addicted loved one will do. So that way they can get a pass, you know? And here's the thing, and I'm learning this with my son, with discipline. If you bend on these boundaries and they see that they can get you to waver, then they're going to push even more and even more to get more and more. It's kind of like that saying, if you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. Okay? So that's why it's really important to set that healthy boundary. All right? But like we said at the beginning, the communication and the trust and the love, they know that they can come to you. When you're ready, Johnny, and you want to change and you want to get better, or you're tired of living the way you're living, all you have to do is say the word and I'll be there. I'll be there to get you. I'll get you into wherever you want to go. I'll drive you there. I'll get you something to eat. I'll get you some new clothes. We'll get you some shoes. We'll get you all set up, right? To go on your new journey to sobriety. But I have to see you take action. I have to see that you're serious about wanting to change. And this is what I talked to my husband about. I said, I need you to be honest with me. Because every time I come to you, you lie to me about it. You lie to me. I know you're using. No matter what, I will always know. First of all, I've been with you for over 10 years. Second of all, I'm a drug addict too. And so I need you to tell me the truth. If you're not honest with me, I can't help you. If you don't tell me what's going on, I can't help you. Okay? I can't be there for you if you're not being honest with me, okay? And that's, you guys, when I tell you this, it's hard because when they start to be honest with you, you're going to hear it. What I heard from my husband is, I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't want to be alone without you and Nate. When you and Nate are not here, I don't feel whole. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to take care of us. I'm afraid I'm going to fail, okay? All this insecurity, all this second guessing and low self-esteem and low self-worth. I was the same way. And I still struggle with that. But I'm building my self-esteem and I'm building my self-worth. You know how? By doing esteemable acts. We talked about this the other day. Esteemable acts are working a job, going to meetings, taking care of my son, doing the next right thing. As I do these good things, my confidence and my love for myself grows and grows and grows. All right, so let's get into like a more complicated example, all right? I need to wash my face while we're talking. Let's get into a more complicated example of someone that is struggling and we're going to help them, okay? So let's say Johnny is addicted to methamphetamine and he is constantly in a state of, yeah? What meal? Oh, let's say little Johnny is addicted to methamphetamine and he is constantly in a state of psychosis, okay? He's constantly in a state of psychosis. He's talking to people who are not there. I mean, he's just out of touch with reality. What are we going to do? How are we going to help Johnny? Okay, so first and foremost, you guys, in this situation, I would get medical attention for them. I would see if there was a way I could get them committed. I would see if there's a way to have them held in the hospital for 2 or 3 days in observation. I would see, because when a person is like that and they have meth in their system and they're hallucinating and they can't see straight and you're talking to people that aren't there, you're not going to be able to get through to them as long as that substance is in their body, okay? We need to get the substance out of them so that way we can talk to them, okay? Whenever I was like that, I could hear what you were saying. I could talk to you, but I wasn't talking to you. Like, I was talking to you in my hallucination, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, in my hallucination, I would be like at Kroger doing my job, and then you would come over and start talking to me. And I could talk to you and I could answer you, but I wasn't fully present because I was in that hallucination, all right? So, with hallucinations like that, it can be dangerous, all right? A person who is in psychosis can harm you, all right? Some people who struggle with addiction, and especially with meth addiction and psychosis, get violent, okay? So what you need to do is you need to evaluate your addicted loved one, okay? Are they the kind of person who gets violent when they're high? You know, and you need to take proper measures to protect yourself and your family, okay? Because anything can happen when a person's on meth. I don't know if you guys follow my friend Kelsey here on TikTok, but my friend Kelsey was given bath salts, and she bit all 5 of her fingers off. She chewed them down to the bone, okay? And that's right. She bit them completely off. So think about that. If she can bite her own fingers off, imagine what she could do to somebody else, okay? Imagine what she could do to somebody else, all right? So in that situation, medical attention is always the best thing that we can do, all right? Now, you might have a runner on your hands, okay? If you got a runner, somebody who likes to bolt, okay, try to keep them calm. Try to keep them, you know, chilled out. Remember that a lot of the things that you're saying, they're not even going to remember that the next day when they sober up, right? But we want to keep them calm and safe until they can get in the EMTs can get there and take them to the hospital. Let's say you have an addicted loved one who is hallucinating and they want help. They're coming to the house, they're in hallucinations, but they know that they're hallucinating and they want help, right? The fastest thing you can do is take them to the ER, okay? Have them held there for 72 hours. While they're being held there, either you or the social worker at the hospital can work on finding them an inpatient bed, okay? There's inpatient state-ran treatment centers and detoxes, okay? And you guys can get them set up and get in there. Now, in my experience going in and out and in and out and in and out of treatment, I've been to 30-day treatment programs over and over and over again. What I would recommend, okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a therapist, I'm just telling you what I would recommend from my own personal experience, okay? What I would recommend is 90 days or longer, okay? If you have a loved one who wants to get help and they're struggling, if you can get them to agree to going into a 90-day program, I'm telling you what, my friend Alfredo just got out of a 90-day program, and he is doing amazing. And I am so freaking proud of him. And when I tell you guys, this kid was in and out, in and out, in and out of rehab for the last 9 months. And we got him into a 90-day program, and now he's kicking ass and taking names. He needed the extra time, you know? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when it's another person. So I would have never known what it was like if my husband hadn't relapsed, okay? Because we got sober together. But when he relapsed, that's when I got to really feel what it was like to love somebody who's in the grips of addiction. And when I tell you, man, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, okay? It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I can handle a lot of stuff, all right? I can handle a lot of stuff. But having no control, I don't like it. I do not like not being in control. And that's what it's like whenever my husband, you know, is off on a run. I have no control, and I'm fighting to get back control. Do you know what I'm saying? And what the thing about it is that through my codependency, I have to learn that I can't control. It has to be his choice. It has to come from within him. Do you know what I'm saying? It's so hard. It's so hard. So let's get some more circumstances. I'm going to give y'all some circumstances. Let's talk about adolescence, okay? Let's talk about teenagers. This is a hard one, all right? So there's not a lot of adolescent treatment centers for drug and alcohol addiction, okay? So what you have to do is you have to get them into a mental health treatment center, okay, for their mental health, which honestly, that's the underlying issue anyway, right? But you get them in there for their mental health as well and let them know that they have addiction. Now, when you have a kid that's under the age of 18, you're in charge. You're in charge, okay? And so I know a lot of people say you can't make somebody get sober, but when you have a kid, a teenager on your hands that is literally knocking on death's door, you do what you got to do to get that kid in where they're supposed to go and safe. When I was growing up, my sister Michelle struggled with addiction, and she struggled with bipolar disorder, antisocial personality disorder, something defiance disorder, some other stuff, a lot of stuff, you guys, okay? A lot of diagnoses. All right, and so my sister was wilding out. She was running away from home. She was sneaking out of a room. She was sneaking boys into the room. She was promiscuous, sleeping around at a young age. She was just doing the most, all right? So my parents had to have her fins petitioned. Fins petitioned, okay? What is that? A fins petition here in Arkansas is when you relinquish the responsibility of your kid and the state picks up the responsibility, okay? Why would they do this? Because my sister was getting in so much trouble and she was running away and not coming home that my parents were going to get arrested, okay, for neglect when they were doing everything they could to get my sister to comply, okay? So they had to let the state take over, and that's when they placed my sister in a juvenile jail and a mental institution, okay? Now, that mental institution, the only thing good about that place was they actually got her diagnoses right. Other than that, it was hell, and I cried because I missed my sister. Because, yeah, she was crazy as hell, but she was my best friend. Me and my sister were Tom and Jerry. Me and my sister were peanut butter and jelly. Okay, me and my sister was peas and carrots. So when my sister got locked up in the crazy house, I was so depressed, you guys. I was so depressed, and my addiction, I started going into my addiction really, really bad. Okay? So, anyway, my sister needed mental health help. The reason why she was using drugs was because of her mental illnesses that were undiagnosed. Straight up. And now that I'm reflecting on my life, I'm really realizing that that's why I was using drugs. I was using drugs because I was undiagnosed ADD and I had an eating disorder, okay? And my eating disorder, it was the gateway to my addiction in methamphetamine, all right? That and the need to feel like I could get my things done and focus. It helped me so much when I tell you, like, I remember being so productive, having my job done. I don't even want to talk about it because it makes me depressed, because I think if I had just gotten treatment for my mental health, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe I wouldn't have ever become addicted. You know what I mean? But anyway, I became addicted for a reason, so that way I could be here with you guys. All right, so I want to think of some other situations. Let's talk about alcoholism. Let's talk about your alcoholics, all right? All right, so I have a best friend. His name is Matt. And Matt is a low-down, no good, no, I'm just kidding. He is an alcoholic. When I tell you he's an alcoholic so bad that he has to wake up and drink over a pint of vodka every morning, okay, just to get out of bed, or he shakes, okay? He has alcoholism so bad that his back, all back here, is black and blue, because of his kidneys and his liver, okay? He has alcoholism so bad that I cannot tell you how many times he has shit on himself and I've had to clean it up. All right? Like, bad, all right? So with alcoholics, normally you have either a really wild, boisterous, loud, obnoxious alcoholics, okay? You have the, um, you know, crying, emotional alcoholics, okay? You have the completely wilding out, insane, freaking the fuck out, violent alcoholics, all right? So you need to evaluate which situation you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying? And then you have the ones that teeter-totter between crying, angry, laughing. And it's like, whoa, you know, it's like a fucking tornado, like that. With alcohol, it's very important that they get medical help, okay? Never, ever, ever have somebody at your house trying to detox off alcohol on the couch, all right? I want to tell y'all a story. So I had a lady reach out to me probably like 2 or 3 months ago. She called Dr. B's office, and she was calling for her daughter or something like that. But she was telling me a story about her husband who had passed away. Well, her husband, sorry about that. Her husband had passed away. He drank, and honestly, she said, I didn't even know he drank that much. He drank, and he decided that they went on vacation. They were leaving vacation, and as they were leaving to come back to where they live, you know, he was like, you know, we got back to where we live, and I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to give it up. And she didn't think anything about it, okay? Well, a couple days passed, and he seemed fine. And all of a sudden, bam, he dropped dead. Cardiac arrest. Alcohol. He dropped dead because of withdrawing off of alcohol, okay? And he was a lawyer. He was smart. He had everything, you know? And because he didn't get medical attention for his alcohol withdrawal, he died. All right? So never keep somebody at your house who's coming off alcohol. Take them to the hospital. Get them into the hospital right away for detox. Now, once they get out of detox, this is what's going to happen with alcohol. Okay? Once they get out of that detox, they're going to say, oh, I feel so good. I don't ever want to go back. I'm fine. I'm all done here. I'm great. It's all good. I don't need to stay. I don't need this. I love you, honey. I love you. I won't go back to it. It'll be different this time. Okay? You better take their ass on down to the 30-day or 60-day or 90-day rehab. Okay? Because they need to go somewhere where they are getting around the clock care. Okay? Just a week of detox ain't gonna do it. It ain't gonna cut it. All right? And they're gonna try and tell you that it is gonna cut it, and that they love you, and that they're better now, and that they just made a mistake. Please, honey, I just made a mistake. Please let me. I don't want to go to that nasty ass treatment center. I don't want to go with them motherfuckers. I'm not really that bad off. I'm not an alcoholic. I just have a drinking. I just like to drink a little too much sometimes, right? Wrong, okay? Wrong. So you get them in their treatment, and you make sure you hold them accountable, okay? Now, you can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do, right? But, you know, you can lay down the boundaries that we were talking about earlier and say, hey, listen, if you don't do your treatment, you can't come back here, because I'm not going to put up with that. And there's nothing wrong with laying down that boundary, okay? Nothing wrong. Because you expect more, all right? Because you respect yourself, and so they need to respect you. Alcoholism is probably the most, you know, a lot of people struggle with alcoholism. No, I don't know what that is, Darius. I've never seen that Keystone. Sorry. You know, a lot of people struggle with alcoholism because it's so readily available. And it's probably the one that goes untreated the longest because it's so socially acceptable. All right? It's so socially acceptable. Let's talk about crack and cocaine. Okay, if you got a loved one who's addicted to crack cocaine, hide your belongings. Lock up your wallet. You better put your purse in the safe because that crack-a-lacka, when I'm telling you, when you run out of that crack-a-lacka, you want another hit and fast because it runs out so damn fast. Okay? It runs out so damn fast. So keep your belongings locked the fuck up. And you know what I hate about crack? Because it has that short time, it runs out so fast. It runs out so fast. And y'all, I hope you know, like, I'm trying to make this fun, and when I share these things, these are the things that I did. Will all crack addicts steal from you? I can't say for certain that all crack addicts will steal from you, but I ain't never met one that didn't. Okay? But y'all know, we're just having a good time, and I'm trying to teach you guys about how to help your loved ones that struggle with addiction. Okay? Okay, so remember that. I just know there's going to be somebody who watches this video and tries to say, she's stereotyping or discriminating or something like that, So, because the crack cocaine and cocaine, because the high is so short-lived, it's like they're going back for more and more and more and more. It's like, tag your it. And that's what makes it so fucking detrimental, is because you run through all this money so fast, so quickly. I found a girl here on TikTok, you guys. Another girl snorted so much cocaine, she fucking rotted her whole side of her nose off. I have the pictures on my... I'll show them to you right now. She made a TikTok called The Evolution of My Nose. Okay? And I'm going to show y'all right now. This is what can happen to you if you snort cocaine. And you keep on doing it. Okay? Okie dokie. All right. That's her. Are we looking? Oh. That's her. Can you see? Okay. Are we watching? Are we paying attention? Cocaine. Okay. Where's the last one at? Oh, crap. I want to show you. So, that wasn't even the worst one, y'all. That wasn't even the worst one. Where's it at? Oh, here we go. Her nose. Completely gone on that side. Completely gone. You can see where it starts to rot away right there. Rotting away. See? That's from cocaine. So, it could be cut with any kind of different cutting agents, okay? So that adds to it too. And then what it does is, you got to understand, this stuff inside your nose, it's cartilage. It's soft. It's not like you got the bone, and then you got the cartilage stuff. And so she said she was going through like an ounce a day of cocaine, all right? And crack, smoking and snorting. And so that's what happened to her nose, okay? That's what happened to her nose, all right? So she said that happened in a year's time, because she had a couple of years sober and then she relapsed. My friend Shane, same situation. He did cocaine. he can take his finger and go through this and pull it out his other side like that. All right? And so cocaine is also the kind of drug that it fucks with your mind. Okay? Paranoia, skitzing out, man, thinking people are coming after you. The cops are coming. The feds are flying over above us in the helicopter. Okay? Now, to me, cocaine's paranoias, they're more intense, but methamphetamines last days. Cocaine, once you come down after an hour or so, you're okay. You know what I'm saying? But with methamphetamine, you be up for 3 days thinking the police are after you. Okay? Ooh, Lord help us all. Okay? But a lot of people who struggle with cocaine and crack addiction, it's one of those addictions that I know a lot of people who struggle and they relapse in it because they go back to it because of how intense the high is, but how short it is too. And so it calls their name and it drags them back in. You know, I went to treatment with a girl and she actually left the treatment center because the treatment center we were at was like 2 houses down from her crack dealer. Yeah. What's happening is the drug supply and the stuff that they're cutting it with and the stuff that they're mixing it with, it's so powerful now. It's so powerful. Okay? So powerful. So I'm not joking, but I am joking. Like, cocaine really is the kind of drug that you will rob your family blind. You will take your mom's wedding ring. You will take all the things that are, souvenirs or keepsakes and take them to the pawn shop and pawn them. So just be aware of that. If you have a loved one who's struggling with cocaine, it's one of those drugs that's like short lived and they have to keep going back. That means they need more money. All right? All right. Let's talk about opiates now. Let's talk about opiates. Oh, opiates. Opiates and benzos, okay? So opiates and benzos, the good old... Is she asleep? Oh, she fell asleep in her mashed potatoes. Sweetie, wake up. You're going to burn the house down with that cigarette. She's got holes all in her covers. Look at all these burn marks. She got burn marks in the mattress. What's been going on over here? Somebody coming over here trying to set you on fire? Oh, no, Mom. It's me. I'm falling asleep with my cigarette. Don't leave me alone with my lit cigarette in the house because I will burn this motherfucker to the ground. Okay? And I won't even wake up. I'll burn up and not even wake up. That's what it's like. Okay? That is what it's like when you are on opiates and benzos. All right? I'm telling you, one time I had a cigarette and it sat here. Oh, there's the scar right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a perfectly little round scar right there. And that thing just sat there on my arm. I got banned from the crazy lady who was bothering you. I'll tell you about it later. Hey, Valerie. Let me follow you, Valerie, so you can tell me about it. Thank you. Love you, girl. I just followed you so you can message me, okay, babe? Okay, we are having such a good time, you guys. We're talking about drugs and how to help our addicted loved ones, okay? And we're kind of having a good time because I'm telling little stories and stuff about different substances. All right? So how can you tell if your loved one is addicted to heroin or fentanyl or oxys or benzos? Like I said, they're always going to either be nodding, rolling their eyes back in their head, slurring speech, smoking like a train, itchy face, itchy arms. Let me think. Lies. If they're an intravenous user, a lot of us intravenous users, and this goes for cocaine, this goes for meth, this goes for oxys, everything. If you're using IV, you'll see your loved one come around with long johns on in the motherfucking middle of 100-degree weather. It could be summertime, and I would have long johns on at my job. In fact, I'll show you a picture. I'll show y'all a motherfucking picture, okay? I have everything. I have things to show you so you have the examples, my friends. Okay? long johns underneath my work shirt in the middle of the damn summer. Oh, because I gotta hide the bends of my arms. You know, how do you look? How do you look for track marks or stuff like that? You know, and somebody who has been using, you know, a lot of times, because we will use and we will run out of veins or we'll get dehydrated, you know. And so, like for me, I have a scar right here on my arm. I'll show you. I have a scar right here on my arm because I used to shoot up in the very same place. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me flip it. Okay. Oh, can you see that? Oh, there it is. Yeah. You see that vein, how it pops out right there? But do you see that scar on top of it? That's my scar. And it fades down into there. Okay. Oh, this one I got tattooed, so you can't see it anymore, but... Oh, yeah, you can. Right there in the middle. See that hole? Those two holes? That's the scar from me shooting there. Okay? So... when people get really bad, they'll have pits. They'll have deep, deep holes that are pitted. I want to show you guys a video, and it's a trigger warning, okay? Trigger warning. My friend sent it to me, and he said if it can help somebody, I can show it to y'all. When I tell you, it motherfucking breaks my heart, dude. Okay, I want you to listen, okay? I want you to listen.
I can't stop, Nicole. Look at how swollen my hand is. Look at my fucking leg. Can't stop, won't stop.
Okay, let me get past the drug and the needle. Okay?
My hand is.
Look at his hand.
Look at my fucking leg.
Look at his leg.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I want y'all to see his hand. Hold on. Trigger
Look
warning.
Look how swollen my hand is. Look at my fucking leg. Can't stop, won't stop.
All right? He is like... has to inject every single day. That's why he has those pits all over his legs, because he's going in his hands. His hands are swollen up. You see how they're red and puffy and swollen? That's from shooting up in his hands, blowing the veins out. Legs, shooting up in the legs, running out of veins, muscle shooting it, getting abscesses, having to get abscesses cut out, not getting the abscesses cut out or treated, and letting them fucking, you know, get fucked up on their own. And it's just... it is so bad when we start IVing and we're not taking care of ourselves when we IV. It is so bad. And that's why I was telling you guys at the beginning of this video, when I was talking about helping your addicted loved one, and I was saying about safety, and I was saying about clean supplies. The reason why I was saying that is not because I want to encourage people to use, but I don't want them to end up like my friend. Okay? I don't want them to have huge black craters all over their legs, swollen hands, all right, missing limbs. Okay, we have our girl, the one-armed badass, here on TikTok. She lost her arm because of her addiction. Straight up. No. Let me show you. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, I'm about to show you. Okay? This girl right here is a fucking miracle. All right? Okay.
Alright, let's check out the comic. What happened to my arm specifically? Okay, so it all started when I started using in my arms, and I got a really bad infection in both of my arms. I was pregnant with my daughter Sophie at the time. I had to give birth with all these scabs on my arms, and I went and got these skin grafts done. The other one you obviously can't see because it's in a lab somewhere. But, so I did that, and then when I went home, I, started using in my shin area.
Oh, wow.
Right here, I call it my permanent shin guard. So I had to go back to the hospital, and they took the skin off to do the skin graft. I got sick, did not want to stay, so I AMA'd, which is against medical advice, and I left, stupidly, with the gauze still attached to my leg. So fast forward about 3 months after that, I had messed this arm up again, which is right here. Okay, the day I went back to the hospital, my arm looked like this.
Do you see that?
The pictures do not do it justice. I promise you, it's way worse. And they told me that they were going to have to take my arm because my bones had deteriorated, and it was a whole new bacteria they haven't seen before, but they treated it as if it were MRSA. So I was on a very, very strong antibiotic for about a month nonstop. They took my arm, which you can see right here. They took my arm. That was like,
Poor baby.
one of those suctions for your infections
so
that, wouldn't get worse. But then they had to take care of my leg, which looked like, because it looked like this.
Oh,
and
Lord
I hadn't changed any of the gauze on it or anything the whole time I've been home that 3 months.
Damn.
And there's a disgusting story with that. If you guys want to know, comment below and I'll make a video on it. So they had to fix it, which
I
is
bet you
what
there was
saw
maggots
at
in
the beginning
it.
of the video. I also had to cut my hair
How much y'all want to bet?
completely.
How much y'all want to bet there was maggots in her leg? Wow. Okay, here we go.
Sure, I can.
Let's hear about the leg.
I didn't change the leg bandage because, I honestly didn't want to be here anymore, so I didn't care. Yeah. I know that sounds silly because I have beautiful children, and it's ridiculous. But I felt like there was no light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I felt like no matter what I did, my parents were never going to forgive me. My family was never going to accept me. And once I lost my family, I lost everything. My hair was matted because I didn't shower. I think the last time I took...
Poor baby.
I didn't care. Finally showed me what I looked like in the hospital mirror, and it was just like, I was a shell.
That girl right there is a miracle. So I wanted to show you all that. I bet you, I don't know if she had maggots in there or not, but I'm guessing that's what happened. But that's from injecting, and catching infections and not having them properly treated. And did you guys hear what she said? She said, I was sick, as in going through withdrawal in the hospital, and she left AMA. Do you know why she left AMA? Because the hospital wouldn't give her methadone, which they should have been either giving her methadone, morphine, or some kind of opioid to fill the gap where that heroin or fentanyl was. If the hospital had medicated her properly, given her the medication, her pain management for her pain and for her opiate use disorder, she would have been able to stay and get the treatment that she needed and probably saved her arm. Okay? But a lot of these fucking hospitals, you could go in there and fucking, like her, be getting an arm cut off and be in severe opiate withdrawal, and they will not give you the pain meds. Now, I'll tell y'all a little story that Dr. B told me. Dr. B told me that when he worked in the emergency room. When he worked in the emergency room, he kept seeing people who were addicted to heroin coming in. In fact, he saw a young man who was addicted to heroin who had a broken leg, and the nurse refused to treat him and give him pain medicine. And that went all over Dr. B. He said, this is wrong. This is unethical. This is causing harm, because they take a do no harm, vow. And so that is one of the reasons why Dr. B got into helping people, was because of seeing things like that happen, where they were not getting adequate care just because they had an addiction problem. And that happens so much. Like, I haven't been able to get adequate mental health care because of my past history with addiction. So anyways, back to our opiates and benzos. So for me, I want to specifically tell y'all about benzos and how they affected me. With benzos, I would shoplift. You don't have to worry about your purse. You don't have to worry about anything in your house, Mom. But if I was going somewhere, I was taking everything with me. If I was going to Walmart, we were going to the makeup aisle. If I went to Bath and Body Works, we're getting candles and some lotion. When I tell you them pills gave me balls of steel. And I had a video I did a couple months ago, and I asked all of TikTok, hey, when you took benzos, did they make you steal? Hundreds of comments saying yes, 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 yes. And so, um, but shoplifting is what it was. It would make you shoplift because it was almost like you would get this like confidence, courageous, and you would just go to the extra mile. But anyways, let me wrap it up because I'm getting tired. The reason why I come on here to tell you guys all this is because I was trying to help you to understand how to help somebody that you love who's addicted to drugs. Remember, just because they're addicted to drugs doesn't make them less of a person. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that, they're a horrible person and they're choosing drugs over you. Like, addiction is a disease, okay? It is a disease. It centers in the mind, okay? When we take drugs and alcohol, it takes over the prefrontal cortex of our brain, which is responsible for our cognitive function, our making good choices, impulse control, pleasure, all that, okay? So remember, when you're working with somebody that you love who's struggling with a disease of addiction, it's not because they don't love you. It's because they're sick. It's because they're sick. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys help your loved ones, you can always reach out to me. I'll do anything I can to help you guys. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live. If you enjoyed the live and you guys would like to subscribe to my TikTok channel, there's a little gold star right there. If you subscribe to my channel for $5.99 a month, at the end of the month, we're taking the money and we're going to bless somebody with it. So I have reached out to my friend Crystal. She works for a treatment center, Sober Barbie, and she is picking one of the clients. So when she picks the client and then TikTok gives us the payment, we will take the payment and we will make them a blessing box. Okay? We'll buy them things that they need while they're there in treatment. We'll get them cigarettes, maybe t-shirts, maybe some underwear, some shoes, some candy, some bubble gum, just whatever we can afford with how much money we get from our subscriptions. Right now, we have 6 subscribers, so that's about $30. So if we keep on going up, we'll go up, and that's how much we'll use. But what I'll do is I will have Crystal go on her TikTok and bring the person on the video live, and then we'll be able to see them open it, and I'll post it here on my TikTok so you guys can see. But yeah, that's what we're doing with my subscriptions. So if you want to do that, click the star, or when you are typing in the comment, there's a little star, click that. All right? All right, you guys, I'm going to go lay down. If there's anything you need, you can always get a hold of me through the DMs. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hey!